Okay, welcome to another session in this series. In the previous session, we ended on question number 72. So here we start with question number 73. Okay, cool. Yeah, the question says we should find the value of y. Where is y? This is y. Cool. All right. So now in order to find y, we need to find some other stuff first, right? We can first find this angle, then we find this angle. If we find this angle, then we can easily find y because these two angles will be supplementary. Okay, cool. Now, since these two lines are parallel, then we can have what corresponding angles, right? So this angle corresponds to this angle, right? Cool. So if you put this angle here, it's what? 75. 75 because what? It corresponds to this angle. Cool. Now we've been told that this triangle is isosceles. So these two sides are equal. So if that's the case, then this angle and then this angle will be the same, right? So that means this angle here is also what? 75. Cool. All right. Now, we know that this is what? Supplementary angle. They add up to what? 180. So this angle plus this angle y should give us 180. Cool. So, y plus 75 should give us what? 180. So y should give us 180 minus 75. Y then gives us 105. So that is our answer, which is A. Cool. Let's move on to question number 74. The question says the sum of the exterior angles of an n-sided convex polygon, is half the sum of its interior angles. Find n. So what this means is that the sum of exterior angles of the polygon is what? Half the sum of its interior angle. So we know that the sum of exterior angles of a polygon is what? 360. And we've been told that it is what? Half the sum of its interior angles. And we know that the interior angles is given by what? 180 n minus 2, right? That's the sum of interior angles. So if we expand this, we have 2 times 360 because we multiply 2 by both sides times 2. And then these two cancels each other, right? Cool. So we would have equals 180n minus 360. Okay? Or we can do it in a different way. We can say 180n minus 2. Okay? Then we divide both sides by 180. 180. Okay? So 180 cancels 180. Then here, 180 will go into 360 twice. So finally, we'll have 2 by 2, which is 4. I mean, this 2 by this 2 is what? 4. So let's write that down. So we have 4 equals what? N minus 2. So we'd have n to be equal to 4 plus 2. And finally, we have n equals 6. Okay? So answer is A. Cool. Let's move on to question number 75. Okay? So now we need to use this diagram to solve question 75 and 76. Okay? Cool. So let me just expand it a little bit so we can see it properly. Cool. All right. Now the first question says we should find the value of x. That is this value. Cool. So these two lines are parallel. Okay. How do you know they are parallel? Because we've been given this sign over here. So these two lines are parallel. So if you have two parallel lines, that means we're gonna have what? Alternate angles. Okay. So this angle here will be the same as this angle here, right? So x is the same as this angle right here. Okay. So let's label it and then we call this side also x. Cool. Now looking at this, we can see that x plus 125 should give us what? 180, because what? It is a supplementary angle on a straight line, right? So x will be what? 180 minus this angle. Okay, cool. So we say x equals 180 minus 125, which gives us what? 55. Okay, so answer is B. Cool. All right, let's move on to question number 76. It says, what's the value of y in the diagram? Now we can easily find y because the sum of angles in the triangle add up to what? 180. So 50 plus y plus x should give us 180. Okay, and we know the value of x to be what? 55. So that means 50 plus 55 is plus y is equal to 180. Okay, cool. So we have 50 plus 55 plus y is equal to 180. So y will give us 180 minus 105, which is 75. So that is our answer, which is C. Okay, cool. Let's move on to question number 77. The question says 3 angles of a hexagon. We know a hexagon has how many sides? Hexagon n is equal to what? 6. Okay, and we told them that the angles of the hexagon are 2m. 3 of the angles are what? 2m. That means we have 2m, 2m, 2m. Okay, then the other angles are 3m, 5n, and m. Okay, so we have 3m, 5m, and m. Cool. So now we need to find the value of m. Okay, so now what we can do is we find the sum of the interior angles. Okay, and we know the formula to be what? 180 n minus 2. So when we do this, and we know that n is equal to what? 6. Okay, then we can equate it to the sum of all this. Okay, cool. So we have 180, 6 minus 2 equals 2m plus 2m plus 2m plus 3m plus 5m plus m. Okay, so we have 180 times 4 is equal to what? 15m. When you add all this, we have what? 15m. So we can divide both sides by 15 by 15. Cool. All right, so we can say that 15 cancels 15, and then we have our m to be, let's try to cancel out with something. Okay, let's say 3 goes here 5 times and goes here 6 times. Okay, then finally 5 goes here once and goes into 60 how many times? 12. So our m is equal to 12 times 4, which is what? 48. 48, which is B. Cool. I think we'll have to stop here for now. Thank you so much for joining this session. In the next session, we move on to question number 78. See you again next time. Bye.